Morning. Hope you're okay this Monday morning. As I mentioned yesterday, today is the last day of doing this monthly diary. So I asked yesterday for people to send in questions if they had any, and some have. So first question is, do you use anything to cover your scars? And the answer to that is yes, although it has changed over time. The scars on my legs, I tend to wear trousers a lot, so they tend to be covered. And wearing a skirt, I wear fairly thick tights, again, to keep them covered a bit. Also, yes, I am a survivor. With my hands, I used to, for years, keep them covered by gloves. Of what? I'm a train crash survivor. In the UK, there was a major train crash and a fireball ripped through the carriage I was on, and I almost died, but luckily, as you can see, I survived, so I'm still here. Anyway, going back to the questions, my hands I used to keep covered by gloves, but of course I probably looked a bit more peculiar than you would do normally, so eventually I got brave enough to take them off. My face, now that's slightly different. Grafts have to, there you go, grafts have to be looked after because they're slightly more sensitive than normal skin. So I use this. It's called Dermacolor, and it's a special camouflage cream, and I use this instead of foundation. And effectively, you can get these in all different types of skin shades. Mine's D5. And you can match it to your face, and it covers up the worst of the scarring. The only problem I found with this is it does tend to come off. Now they do, you know, it comes off on your phone. If you're wearing a cream shirt, it comes off on that. It's really annoying. And Dermacolor, who are the firm that make this cream, they do have a fixing spray, but I found that made my face feel really sticky. So I found a makeup fixing spray from Avon, which I use, and it does tend to keep your makeup in place rather than on your clothes or your phone. And I also know that this particular firm does cover up makeup for other scars. So if you had something on the rest of your body that you didn't particularly like showing people, if you look up on their website, Dermacolor, and they are international, so you can buy it from anywhere in the world. So hopefully that answers that question. Right, somebody else has asked, if I want help, where do I start? In the UK, we have a really good national health system, so my first suggestion would be go to your GP. Your GP will always have access to psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, so they're the best place to start off with. If that doesn't work for you, a hospital can help, because again, they've got access to those same databases. In my case, because we wanted to look for the best and my family and I were able to afford to pay for it, we actually went directly to the Royal College of Psychiatrists. So we started our search there to find somebody that would suit me. Okay, so in the first instance, I'd definitely start off with your GP and ask for their help. Next question was, can you recover from depression completely? Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm just somebody who suffers from PTSD, which includes the depression. Yes, of course you can. I have seen people who have managed to, through therapies and medication, get over their depression completely. Having said that, there are people like myself who, when we were diagnosed so late that the likelihood is we'll never get over it. We will always have this weakness and get hit occasionally by depression. So it's not, I wouldn't consider it the end of the world. There are ways of managing it, which I hope my video diary has shown. But don't consider it the end of the world. You know, if you get depression occasionally, but you can manage it, then that's what you have to do. I'm afraid that's part of life. Okay, next question was, you complained about the cold and damp making your pain worse, so why stay in the UK? Nice question. I'd love to live somewhere else, but the UK is my home, and this is where it happened, and this is where I've recovered. I've got a really good support network here, and of course, most importantly, all my family and close friends are here. So to me, being in the UK is the only place I can live. Although it'd be lovely, wouldn't it, if I won the lottery and then could afford two places, one somewhere else sunny and then then I would never have to see winter again. But hey, that's a pipe dream. Somebody else has wrote into me and said, I don't like the way my antidepressants are making me feel. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of types of antidepressants out there. If one is making you feel yucky, then there's no reason why you can't be moved on to another one that won't have the same side effects. Now, with any medication, there's always going to be side effects, but they should be minimal. They shouldn't interrupt you in how you're feeling about your own recovery. So again, if I were you, whoever that was, go back to your doctor. Go back to your doctor and just say that antidepressant is not particularly suiting you. What else is available? I personally don't like GPs prescribing antidepressants, simply because GPs, by their very nature, are general practitioners. So they don't have an in-depth knowledge with things like depression. I mean, for example, if you had cancer, you wouldn't expect a GP to give you the chemotherapy. You'd go to a specialist. So my personal opinion is that things like antidepressants should only be given out by a qualified psychiatrist. But as I said, that's only my personal opinion. I don't care what happens to me. Why won't people leave me alone? Well, I won't mention your name because I don't want to embarrass you, but I'd say you do care what happens to you. Otherwise, A, you wouldn't have watched my video diaries, and B, you wouldn't have messaged me. So, I mean, my heart really goes out to you if that's how you feel, but please don't feel that isolated. Please reach out to people, and you should care what happens to you. Every single person, every single human life is valuable, and I'm sure you've got things to offer the world and people around you that is invaluable. So please don't feel like you don't care what happens to you. I'm sure there's lots of people that do, so please reach out and get some help. Okay, who are you to hold yourself out as an expert? I'm certainly not. I said at the beginning of this diary that I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody who's learned to live with it. Now, the fact I am 16 years into it means I have learned some lessons, and I have learned some ways of coping. So that's all. That was the only reason I was doing this diary, was to show you what was happening to me each day, and to then try and pass on whatever I was doing about it, in the hope that it might help somebody. So I'm certainly not an expert. I wouldn't pretend to be. I got half a message here. How do you cope? I'm not 100% sure what you were meaning by how do you cope. Again, if you go back over the video diaries, I've done mainly 2 a day during the working week and then 1 each day weekend. You'll see how each day has been affecting me and what I've been struggling with, not just with the depression, but also with illness and pain, and then what I've done about it in order to avoid anything more serious. Okay, so that's all the questions I had so far. So I'm going to sign off in a minute. Before I do, if you would like to know more about my background, this is an unashamed plug. This is my autobiography called From Behind the Mask, which describes my life before, during and after the train crash, and how I then recovered from it. So you can get this on Amazon, but if you go onto my website, I will then sign it for you before sending it to you. So that is a little plug, I'm afraid. And then remember, this is my website, and if you go to the video tab, you'll then find all the day's videos that I've done on this diary. Okay, and finally, if you want to get in touch with any more questions, I will do one more of these videos this evening. I'll aim for 7 o'clock GMT in the evening. So if you've got any more questions, again, get in touch via my email, my Twitter handle, or of course via Periscope. Okay, so I hope you have a good day, and I'm off to see my psychologist soon to see whether I can get signed off again now that I've done my week of rest. I am feeling pretty good, so I'm hoping it will be a winner. Speak to you later. Bye.